I am moving from 212 to the open. This is what I eat in a day. And I know if you saw my podcast, I talked all about this, why I'm not competing this year and moving now to do an open show next year. And so you can check that out if you like to. I just want to see the best version of myself and also educate people on the process along the way of what does it take to move up and still add muscle once you're at a high level. So in this phase, I'm going to show you what I eat for the day, and you have to have some perspective is that I'm just moving out of what was a contest prep. And so this next 7-week period is kind of like a maintenance holding / health phase for me. So bringing calories to a slight surplus. So I'm going to allow some, body fat gain to happen during this phase. Not a lot, because I don't have much of the maladaptations to dieting, like, terrible sleep and food focus and all these things, but a little body fat does need to happen because I'm not quite optimal there. And then also, so calories are still relatively low for the day, so keep that in perspective. PDs are being brought down to baseline with the idea of just having some time at baseline for the future of what we're doing, moving into the open with just blasting gear. No, I'm just kidding. If you know me, that's not how we go about it. Do it within reason for our goals. So anyway, for today, I am on meal 1. Already did, Renee and I, we go out and do like a 25-minute walk. Then I come back and doing cardio, and meal 1 will be my pre-workout meal. And so for today, what I have is 200 grams of egg whites and 100 grams of spinach. I do this, I love tacos. So I have a high fiber tortilla that I do. These are like 10 grams of fiber and 13 grams of total carbohydrate, like 1 gram of fat. So pretty minuscule. Great during the dieting process. They'll eventually move out once food does get high enough. 150 grams of melon. And then I have 100 grams of oats, and I put in 35 grams of weight of protein powder, which I'm currently doing the cinnamon bun animal way. And so I've been using Chronometer to log my macros. Not that I move macros around a lot, but it keeps me accurate for tracking like every single thing that I do add in. Like for instance, this has right now what's in season is the poblano pepper here in Texas. So they do a poblano salsa, which is like 5 grams of carbs per 25 grams. Stuff to count for if you do have a lower food amount. I'm gonna have to look at my actual app to see exactly what these macros are, but I'll post them like along the way so you can see them. I believe this one's right around 100 grams of carbs, 60 grams of protein, and 15-ish grams of fat. And my first meals are a little higher and kind of taper them throughout the day. Put a lot around training right now as it matters more from the calories being lower. But then once I get high enough in food, it's going to be a pretty even spread because the nutrient timing aspect kind of washes away once food gets high enough. So this will be meal 1, and then we will head to the gym. All right, just got done training, hit push today. It's a great session. Right now, just training 4 days per week, 3 off days, just to spread my volume out, to have some extra just recovery while food slowly increasing in this health phase. Also just to get some extra work into. I'd rather have more rest days and the same volume per session versus have training 6 days a week with just a little bit of volume. It just gives connective tissue more of a break for me. So meal 2, post-workout, I have 80 grams of oats, cook it in the gym, and then bring my protein powder once the oats cools down enough and do 75 grams of powder weight of animal whey brownie batter. And then I also, since I just needed more carbs and I haven't made the dive into doing like cream of rice or something post-workout, we had these Pride crispy bars. It's like a Rice Krispie treat, but not. Which the macros are pretty cool on them because it's only 1 gram of sugar for 25 grams of carbs. It does have 4 grams of fiber in it, 2 grams of fat, and 1 gram of protein. If you're going in thinking like this is going to be a Rice Krispie treat, it is not quite there, but for what it is in the macros, it's excellent. And you can like crumble it on top of your oats and stuff, and it's really good. A little bit more crisp than a Rice Krispie treat, and also kind of falls apart a little bit in your mouth, but excellent, but just easy grab carb source in addition to my oats, because this is about maxed out for me oats wise before I move to cream of rice. And yes, this does have a good amount of fiber in it, and it is my post-workout, but again, big picture, hitting the total carb amount for the day is the most important variable. And also, as I'm moving up in calories, just trying to manage hunger as well. And I just really like oats. It's a kind of a preference thing, at least for this meal. So this meal is about 60 grams of protein and 90 grams of carbs and 10 grams of fat. Again, post the macros somewhere around here so you can check it out and drive home. So I'm now having meal number 3 of the day. So moving on to chicken, some stereotypical bodybuilder. Also at the bottom of this chicken is a Veggie Medley. And so, I think if you're trying to make a good diet or a healthy diet, I think that's one that should cover across your macros, but also your micronutrients, which is something not always considered. We can have pretty low food variety in bodybuilding. So I like the Medley blend because I can get a variety of veggie sources. So this one has shallots, carrots, red bell pepper, onions, snap peas, and broccoli in it. So I'm getting a variety of vegetables, but also nutrients. And then it's 150 grams in that one. And then 200 grams of chicken. And then I have just a little bit of G Hughes and some mustard on there. So within like diet planning, I try to have at least 4 different protein, carbohydrate, and fat sources as a minimum. Then also for vegetables, 5 to 10 different veggie sources, and then at least 5 to 10 different fruit sources would be fine as well. That can get to the upper ends of the extreme. So as long as you're, even as a bodybuilder, consuming a vegetable and a fruit, you're doing really good. So what I have in this one, which if you can make it out, it's covered in stuff, but this is a mix. It's 20 grams of carbohydrates from fruit, which is strawberries, blueberries, and peaches. Then I haven't dove into making rice just yet. We had some rice checks that was left, so I didn't want to make just this little batch of rice for what I needed. So just rice checks crunched on top. It's 20 grams of rice checks, which closer to 15 grams of carbohydrates with some cinnamon. Then I know all my snack foods, right? Then just 2 plain rice cakes, and I use peanut butter on one and almond butter on the other for some variety in what I am doing. So this all totals up to close to 70 grams of carbs, 70 grams of fat, and 70 grams of carbs, 70 grams of protein, and about 10 grams of fat. So this will be meal 3. Then I have 2 meals left. Okay, so now we're on to meal 4 for the day. This is my salad that I always have. It's one of my favorite meals, a salad. And Renee and I always go to the couch and watch some type of Netflix show. Right now we're watching Vikings. So salad, 200 grams of lettuce, and there's about another 100 grams of bell peppers, onions, jalapenos. I use G Hughes Polynesian sauce and soy sauce in this. Then this is 150 grams of beef, 93.7. Sorry, no, this one's 96.4. Thinking of Renee's diet. And I didn't have enough beef, so we had a little bit of pork left from our night before. So 30 grams of just pork chop that's in there. So I usually just dump that in my salad. Then for carbohydrates, have 140 grams of strawberries and 80 grams of blueberries. Then also 100 grams of just potato. These are a frozen potato that just throw them in the microwave, really easy to prep. So total macro-wise, 60 grams of protein, 44 grams of carbs, and 16 grams of fat. Got 1 meal left for the day. Last meal of the night. Everybody? Well, he doesn't know. He doesn't get to eat it ever. So meal number 5, my nightcap. What I love having is a oat cake, and then also my whey smoothie. So this is total 70 grams of whey, half of it's vanilla, half of it's brownie batter, and this is just also a cup of almond milk and ice. I just throw it in the Ninja as in a blender. This oat cake is more complex. It's 40 grams of oats, has some baking powder, 8 grams of cocoa powder, then also a little bit of stevia and 30 grams of pumpkin and 30 grams of egg white. So quite a concoction, but that gives you a pretty much like an oat cake. It is amazing. Also 5 grams almond butter, 5 grams of peanut butter for some mix. And so I have like my sort of ice cream smoothie, and then also my oat cake, which this all totals up to 60 grams of protein, 15 grams of fat, and 48 grams of carbs, which I think that's pretty close if I remember right, but we'll put the macros up here so you can see them. For my total for the day, so exactly, I had to write it down to make sure I don't misquote myself, is 3,100 calories and 3,174 calories. Protein is 315 grams, 353 grams of carbs, and 67 grams of fat. So that's where we currently are at. Fiber is probably maxed out at, or I would not let it go up any higher in the off season. So all the food sources you see now, as I'm increasing carbohydrates, I'll shift those more into non-fibrous carbohydrates, more like white rice and things like that. And I'll probably have to actually move down some of the fibrous carbohydrates slightly, see how high it gets. Right now, doing 5 meals. Food gets higher. Usually I'll shift over to 6 meals, one being maybe a shake and keeping something more solid in place. So just see where food moves up, but this is at least where we're at this moment food-wise. If you like what I'm doing here with food and want to learn more, check out J3 University. Tell me your feedback. Talk to you guys later.